Good evening and welcome to the Lakota College Storytelling Hour. This is Brian Charging Cloud, and I'm up here on Wednesdays from 5 to 6 to share a story, maybe something on the language. I always talk about the language, and announcements. Lakota College itaha woyake naish nakun wonach awahi chana yunai walking that's tokahe the KILI radio keha wopila e talking na toskale che Hercules ake tiopa yura khalila yomok na washte na wanale bloketu lewetu elunkiaps alecha khtalha wahi he khesapekta. Yesterday we went to Miniluza from Wounded School, and we had made plans to visit Harney Peak, and well, I listened to the weather in the morning, but when I got to school, everybody was anxious and ready to go, so we went. And we got to Rapid City, and it started raining, and it turned into snow. And by the time we got to close to Harney Peak, the roads were wet, snow, slush, getting icy, snowing very hard, and that bus is a little bit too long for those turns, especially from that right after Hill City, that Sylvan Lake turnoff. We had to negotiate those turns and really sharp U-turns, and then we went through a little tunnel there. So we decided to not climb Harney Peak because the weather was pretty pretty foggy up there. Probably can't even see the mountain. But we did visit Crazy Horse Memorial, and it's always good to visit Crazy Horse Memorial, and it's good for the children. So maybe next time we will make our plans on a clear and sunny day to visit Harney Peak. Echuha maraju na khatena watoha tunka wana wahi it kimem vektat changugi KILI changa ngaiza as doksa kwatohan uya as wakanja hanaka trashunke witko pa hetia aichunki jahana helwanka hetakwa oblas et one nazi na heli tuskawana is a chunkpil wash he Crazy Horse Memorial held to me am hat heli li lo wast no katta ketwa nazi kon khai le host tinha ela het se oap chatok khashnesh is gonna in the another than a capital as you gonna look out the oab here the Crazy Horse Kile in Lakota oab hat trashunke abna cheche trashunke witko khahel tuma aitano japon kha trashunka ab chahet you kikta chahet Tokes ki looks on the another of the capital Li Lataku Lakota Lan with Chota Lakota. Namanas Natukte Woab Hanta and I Nanas not Glusnam Sete. It's Nakun Hetchetu Sete, Slovashni. Another of the Nakaveti looked on is Avles Amanta Installav Hetio Makilakaki. Ja, heb geen. Ja, sinds hij hier niet. Ook ik heb me kwijt. Maar hij heeft je wel van het is de appel op gaan komen. Nee, dus naam zetje. Ja, ze heilig poa. Tot ook is heilig. Zo is het ja. Nanas na het is na oapi. Es mist ook kennis ke. Sinds sunka ja het ja sunka. Zo het sankt ook het is goed stand. Het is Yunnan Kalewaki. So, I have some announcements here. The in the Lakota College, last day of classes is, I was just looking at the website for Lakota College, and on there it says last day of class is May 9th, and that's only like 4 weeks now. So if you have, if you're going to do some last minute studying, now is the time to maybe start your studying, or if you have to turn in some papers, maybe it's a good time to do it. I know when I was going to school, I never did that. I usually wait till the last minute. Sometimes I don't even finish it. But do it good, do it right, because education is really important. Ganata Abkhazan Zaina Zunana Kechta Kata Lila Hapata Waya Nakakta. Igluapo. On a cool little announcement Yaha Hiki Khashiwa Makchuala Kaya le wanale le waya kilena le wanale waya ihuni kamhata hel takuku lila mazaska aikwak tana chiuro ne kan fon le graduation be ready for graduation le wichito apkehna na is na kon le washitu pictures na invitations nos na kon in star quilt le wichachpi onjaji na kon nos na kon ta kon dia wichak ook te ke we chu na kon he khokab na kon hels na wachipi I have a shitu prom. Okay, these all cost some money. Sometimes a lot of money. So get ready because it is coming up pretty fast. Course, when this picture, the picture akile, vichito akile, no, when this appointment venu, waiha alusotaki. You can spend as much as $200 for pictures. Na is nakunle invitations akile na. It could run anywhere from $20 for 20, or depending on what kind you get. If you get the fancy ones, you could spend as much as $50 for 20. When I did it, I just made some on the computer and run them off. And a star quilt, depending on what kind of star quilt you buy, could run you up to $100 to, if you get a satin one, it could be $300. So it's up to you how much money you want to put into it. But just get ready, and now is the time to get started because it's coming up. Like last day of school for Lakota College is May 9th. And a lot of these graduations will be week after that, around May 8th to May 10th, May 20th. So get ready. It's coming up very fast. Okay. The other one, I have another announcement, and really, it's hard to make this kind of announcements, but I have a cousin, Kahashi, in Lakota. His name is KILI Condon, from Cherry Creek. His wake is tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, and I plan on going up there and leaving tomorrow afternoon. And KILI was very involved in the Teospai movement, both on the Pine Ridge Reservation, the Cheyenne River Reservation, Standing Rock, and Rosebud. And many of the Kahashi, Kola, right here on the Pine Ridge Reservation, I've been in contact with them on the phone, some of them, and they are going up there tomorrow, and the wake is at 7 o'clock, and funeral is on Friday. I think it's 10 o'clock. And one thing that I would like to announce for KILI is that he was a member of the 1959 Class B state champions. And at that time, it was called the Cheyenne Braves. Now it's called the Cheyenne Eagle Butte Braves. But if I remember right, that's the only time that the Cheyenne Braves are state champions. And I remember that very well because I went to watch them play. They have some on that team. Another one that left us was Freddie Knife. He was on that team. He was one of the best well-known Hapskata Wichasha basketball player. And we will sure miss KILI. And they were part of the Indian basketball. I think it's on this picture. It says a modern day tradition. So I think a lot of you out there who are basketball fans, you know what Indian basketball is. Still here, still going strong. And I thought I'd announce that for him, for KILI. We'll sure miss him. Okay, this evening I have it's not a story, but it's an essay. But before I get into that, there's other families that are lost their loved ones, and we remember them this evening. The woyak when you hear the Washitiakal essay at Leu Chashaki Le War, which I Nahe Taku Le Lakota Wartime War be up. Kahele Oaki Le learning my Lakota language up to Leoa. Hey, Chashaki Leo Hawk up. Nanakale Lakota le iapi ilagon kichamena le nachum nanchecha Leo Hawk essays up. Okay. So hele wa ekele na chante ye chante tahu. Ocha gana tua ya hunt no ganas hetchitulak nktish nenes no ganas nakun let which I have who elkt hoas oglak toksha le blana ha I say woyuk chaheta na woyuma keheta nakun woablezeta so before I get into this essay, I would like to say good evening to all the workers who are on the road. I know Cliff and Maryland, if you're listening, you probably are going on the road, going back to Rapid City. Have a good trip. Highway 18, I-90, have a good trip. Okay, here is the essay, and it comes in two parts, but the first part I'm going to just read maybe a couple or two paragraphs, and then I'll get into the other part. The first part is called Learning My Lakota Language, and then the second part is called Future of Lakota. Okay, Learning My Lakota Language by Leo Hawk, adjunct staff writer, Lakota Wotai Woapi. This was written, it was posted on 7/16/2006. So here we go. Okay, it says, let me start out by explaining how I fit into the scheme of things. I am a Lakota who did not grow up speaking Lakota as a first language. My parents were from the generation who felt it best if the language were not taught to their children, mostly because of the trauma that they had to undergo in school and elsewhere. They pushed me to get good grades and go to college, both of which I did. But I did so without the ability to speak my language of heritage throughout my entire adult life. I have regretted that decision they made, and I wish they had decided to teach me the language when I was a child. But I know that nothing I can ever do will change the fact that I was raised with only one language. I cannot turn back the clock, but that doesn't mean I am helpless to improve my current situation. We touched on the Oakile Lakota ke on toki ichaga heha le atena inata ina toki washichuship na Lakota pikele on spekjaps na lila in le washichu wa etka lila in speechship na toha okay ka won speechship ta hecho Wasle in Lakota is nikele cha atoki le oana checha wana tona wanetu tona chaka hecha tok sugana suglak hecha le Lakota is nikele tohoni hekta kaina pazuzu kihish nike ho ash Tokata ke ie cha ukihi chihatanas speech china chihatan Lakoting the hecha se wuyu chaka he the uich ukihi cha takun tog yukchanan checha hechon le owa. Several years ago I was at a sweat lodge ceremony. Although my parents didn't pass on the language to me, I was raised around the traditions, Lakota spirituality. I pass on the language my parents didn't pass the language on to me. I was raised around the traditional Lakota spirituality. I started off my prayer in the way I was accustomed to. Halilulaka, Tongashila, Wakantanka, Wupila, Tanka, for the day, for this day, for bringing us here together. All of a sudden, I was seized by a strong emotion. Here I was in Lakota, and I was praying in the language of the dominant society. The society which had nearly succeeded in killing off our language and spirituality. What I felt wasn't exactly shame, since I had come to terms with the fact that it wasn't my fault that I didn't speak the language. But on the other hand, I realized that at nearly 40 years of age, I was responsible for my own destiny. I also realized that if I didn't take action at some point, I might find myself on a deathbed, never having learned my language beyond a few dozen common words. KILI. Oglak. Toki tohala alanachi ohina lechon kupchans na heonkasa. Toa tohala khoti hantana hantash. Washija encouragement no kapsa. Hoas lechi I lechas oglaka. Sanakun tohala yak ash tokashni kachami mia. It's okay. This is how I feel. It's okay for you to speak whatever you can, whatever you learn, but keep learning. But this is Mr. Hawks comes from his heart. By the time I came out of that lodge after the fourth round was over, I had made a vow to myself and to my ancestors. I decided that I was going to learn to speak my Lakota language. And I didn't mean that I wanted a type of learning that involves taking one college class or skimming through one book or learning to include a slightly larger percentage of Lakota into my English prayers. No, I wanted to go the whole 9 yards and become a fluent speaker, or at least as fluent as one can become when they start learning a language relatively late in life. Okay. It doesn't matter how old you are. Learn at your pace, and then learn. If you really want to learn, I always say that. If you really want to learn, you're going to learn. And you will need help. You will need somebody to motivate you. But it's majority of the learning process is up to you. If you really want to learn, you're going to learn. Okay. Then he went on to say that maybe he was too busy, or maybe he wasn't really serious. And I think I just mentioned that. And then let's see. And then he likes to watch television too, and I think he mentioned that in English, and that there's other things that he could be doing besides learning the Lakota language. So sometimes we are very busy. It is busy life, because we all have to work. We all have to be at a certain place at a certain time. So sometimes it is very hard to really get down and learn. But we always say that, and I think I just said that, is that it takes a lot of patience, it takes a lot of time, and you need a good teacher, and you need a good motivator, And then if you want to learn, you're going to learn. Okay? Hohe just a wae. I had let it hard to just a wogalak. Ata kuku hele ke gnasna lila in ata chilahan oap geognumkom. Chale. Atas no wanatohan Lakota of KILI speech in Takish le oap hekta nanas ata wanita nanchecha. Cha ukihishne. Ohe. Cha me ibeluk let whenever we come up here, we always say that just learn as much as you can, and we always say it is good to encourage. Do not make fun of other people. Don't correct people, but encourage them to just keep learning. But he really has some good thoughts here. He really made some good points here, and that's how he feels. See? That's how different people, different thoughts, and this is one of them. Okay, the other one is the future of Lakota. Okay, this is his thoughts again. Okay, it says here that it says here in my last posting, I talked about some of my journey towards being a Lakota speaker. I also brought up non-fluent friends of mine and issues surrounding why they possibly haven't dedicated themselves more to speaking the language. To be honest, my heart was pounding when I posted my opinions because I was worried that someone might take offense. Since then, however, I have talked with friends of mine who read the essay and they were not mad. Instead, some said that what I wrote actually got them to take a more honest look at their status with the language than they had before. A few spoke of a renewed conviction to learn Lakota. So it is with new confidence because of the feedback that I would like to put more thoughts onto paper. As always, I offer my own opinions, which people are free to disagree with. I hope that no one is offended by anything I write. Stokishke uspenice chapenes, dwa uspenice, stoke lukchantlena, chinis ahanitas ilukchancha. Manastwalu chanzekenis manasake. Takun manashicha has aletash, nachiniani thoughts in hetas ilukchancha, tokashne, huchet etan wuyukchinchuk, huchetan wablesichuk, ta hetas emir ables. Temir mittelak temir meta oakake hanta. Ik hoop geen sneeuw opging. Slo da hena onichaka. Hena eta spiatuna eta warblesiatu. That hurts. Okay, see what else he says here. My own journey with Lakota has really made me realize just how endangered our beautiful language is. A lot of us seem to be in deep denial about it. I often hear remarks like, it is okay because there are a lot of speakers on that reservation or this reservation. Or, well, things should turn around once someone gets around to starting an immersion school. Or the spirits won't let the language die out. That's another one. Or it says, let's be honest for a moment. Okay. Well, he went on to say, let's be honest for a moment. There are very few speakers of Lakota under 40 years old. and almost none under 30. The deck is stacked against our language. History has shown time and time again that a language cannot survive without young speakers. In fact, it may already be too late for Lakota. We may already have passed the point of language oblivion. I don't know. I don't know about that. Deep in my heart, however, I believe we can still save it. But it will take all of us to do so. And there is no time to waste. The revitalization will get harder and harder each year as more and more fluent speakers pass on. Certainly we can all agree on one thing: without a turnaround, Lakota will be nearly non-existent. He says here it's 50 years from now and dead in 75 years. KILI alo. KILI chekcha jahana thought cheta hu. Ganash no kichata kun wujik chanjin kagakte. Khosh Lakota ap KILI to le ota pelon kapte. Lel ota is kakia ota. Is lechia ota on kapsa. Is na kun tokhash nilo toksha in Elil heke. Spirits won't let the language die out. That will hem kapsa na kun. Ho ash Hetchena lehan wanale wani to let you challenges a week. Wani to wiktemnan topa kilena lila hetan kuta ka lila chonala. Wani to wiktemna yamani hehan kuta ka lila nakun akta chonala. Nakun lil taku boy waiki he. Ya pikile tuhuni intogata kia wash apen ktishni. Takomni le wakanja kele non speak to kaktehecha. A language cannot survive without young speakers. Hohenai. Hohechon le immersion projects le kindergarten, first grade henetjala. Henale hetashna yap heta. Lilish le Lakota College, the immersion project, the kindergarten and first graders. Na injale wanale chapel hitcho. The one district school. They are going into immersion this coming fall with kindergarten and first graders. So hitcho, that's really good to start with that age. Okay. When nakun lilta ke Leta wani to extemna zavta wan Lakota ya pikile gonash wani tinktelo. Wan leta wani to extemna shako some zavta wan yota shatash tinktelo. Chata KILI. Velash na town has a KILI elo as a waja mija hefringt. Okay, na lemna ka kewanju ayake. The remarks I quoted above have one main thing in common. They all put the responsibility for saving the Lakota, saving the language, on someone other than ourselves. It would be comforting to think that somebody out there is keeping the language alive among the younger generation. But I think we all know deep down that it is not true. Yes, an immersion school would help. Yes, more bilingual programs would help. Yes, an undated dictionary would help. But these things will not save the language. Only we can do that now he says at the grassroots level. Okay, I like that. Only we can do this. And I would like to add, this is from me now. Only we can do it, and don't wait for nobody. Now this comes from another well-known language revitalization person that's up in Blackfeet. That's their logo. Do not wait for nobody, just do it. And we are doing that too. Okay, he went on to say, I'll read a couple more paragraphs here. Okay, it says here, doing so will require that we put away jealousy, negative attitudes, territorial bitterness, and politics. It says, this will not be easy, and everyone who is reading this knows that. But I would submit a statement for consideration. I believe that unless those things can be put away, the language is dead. Unless these things are dealt with, the turnaround I mentioned earlier will never materialize. Instead, the youngest speakers will grow old, they will die off, and that will be the end. After KILI KILI ليه تخويك أنا إنش هنا وي وان كهتش نبنس وانا خونا إنش ويك تنشوك لل كيه خش لي ونا ويسي نايش نكون ل هوخ عشنا أهنا تكون شيتام كيكشم إنش نكون هوخ لل تلا خش ووي وقت لاش نفسه إيش وكيباج هنا نكون أهل نكون بنسوا كنيته هنا يبقى إيمنا كابشني حتى أويتشم شيتينك تاج هيتس ويكت أشي هنا كيش هيتس مش هيتس إيش نبلكت تكو هيتس هو هني نكو خش بتاعي لايف خسه هيس وهي هنا كنت هنا ويكت هيتس هنا لنا سكا تلا هكا نجي ملانا نماي تخاش أنا غفتم كهتس بناي ويكت تنغناش ويونا كوجي مكتب. Okay. The last paragraph. It says here, why are elders brought into the classroom to teach Lakota? Do they even have teacher's certifications? The children's time will be better spent learning math skills. Now this is what he heard, okay? Or, here's another thing, that maybe why are outsiders coming into our community over our language? بنيوتشا خلقتها هي إنها نخوتي في كل أوان هيك ذاك ويوم خكيا وأنا هي سجى هي تهي تشك شيء أويك لا let's see. It says here, it is time for us to come together to address possibly the greatest issue to confront our nation in this generation. And we must put aside criticism and politics to do so. It gives me feedback thoughts, and I know that some of what he wrote is true, and a lot of these that he mentioned, like we are not working together, or that we are only learning everyday languages. I think all of you Lakota teachers out there are doing more than that. We are doing like more than everyday language. And then we are like I went to a meeting 2 weeks ago in Pierre, and I see people working together. I see people getting other schools involved, working with other schools and sharing and becoming strong and have good attitudes. So I only see real good attitudes. I didn't see no negative attitudes. So I thought I'd share that with you. So once again, this is the Lakota College Storytelling Hour, and we will be back again next week. And remember, only 4 weeks of school left. Graduation is just over the hill. Get ready. And also, spring is here. We saw snow yesterday, and that's probably the last time we will see snow. And so get out there and enjoy the spring and have a real good evening. And we will see you back again next week, same time, same station, on KILI Radio, 90.1, 88.7, and thank you to all you listeners out there on KILIRadio.org. Have a good evening.